It's 4:39 p.m. on the 21st of November, 2021, and a man gets into a red SUV in Waukesha, Wisconsin. Over the next minute, he would rampage through the annual Christmas parade, leaving 6 dead, 62 injured, and a scar on the community that still resonates to this day. In the legal case that followed, onlookers would be dismayed by the spectacle of a narcissist self-destructing in the courtroom, in one of the most bizarre trials we have ever seen. This is the story of the Waukesha Massacre, one of the darkest cases and most infamous trials in modern history. Welcome to The Worst of Us. When we talk about the case of the 2021 Waukesha Christmas Parade Massacre, it's tempting to focus heavily on the trial, because, as some of you may know, Darrell Brooks, the man who drove through the parade, would represent himself in court. And, well, it wouldn't go fantastically.
Mr. Brooks, who's that?
That would be you.
I'm not stupid.
Well, I disagree with that, sir.
We can open the door on how old she told me she was.
Interrupting.
We can ask that question too then.
You're always trying to pull some fast maneuvers.
Mr. Brooks.
And, Miss Judge, your life is not on the line. Mine is. And you think that I think this is funny?
I can't hear everything you're saying.
This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared.
Now, we will be fully breaking down that trial later in this video, but by focusing on it without context, you can miss that Brooks' behavior was actually the culmination of a lifetime of escalating narcissism, rage, and violence. To properly understand the how and why of everything that happened in this case, we first have to understand everything that led to it. Darrell Brooks was born on February the 21st, 1982 in Milwaukee. By all accounts, his childhood was difficult, with Darrell describing in a 2007 letter to a judge that his father was an alcoholic who was abusive to his mother, who raised him and his older sister alone, and that the family were on welfare for most of his childhood. Darrell's grandmother, Mary Edwards, would later describe how Darrell was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at just 12 years old. And Darrell would later say in court that he had dealt with mental health issues for as long as he could remember, spending time in mental health facilities and on medication throughout his life. In the same speech, he would also claim to have been physically abused in his younger years, but offered no detail about this other than stating that it happened. Brooks' lengthy criminal record begins on September 5, 1999, when, age 17, he was charged with substantial battery and intentionally causing harm after slashing another man's face with a knife. He pled guilty a year later and spent 6 months incarcerated at the Milwaukee County Community Reintegration Center, known as the House of Correction at the time. He would later return to jail for 50 days in 2002 for marijuana possession, and 20 days in 2003 for resisting and obstructing an officer. 2003 is also when a paternity case is initiated against Brooks that went on to issue 8 warrants for failure to pay financial obligations to a child. In 2005, he served 30 days for failing to pay a disorderly conduct ticket, and 2 days for misdemeanor obstruction for lying to police. The next year, he served jail time in Reno, Nevada for domestic battery and obstructing after being found guilty. While incarcerated, he gave this interview for a documentary about methamphetamine called Crystal Darkness, which was released in the same year.
I didn't think about, I got this beautiful kid who's going without my time. I thought I would just be this wonderful father, just be the greatest dad ever. The vision is just like, I'm gonna give him everything that I didn't have. But then it's like reality set in. You actually become the drug, not even a human being. Basically, that's how I felt. Like I wasn't a human anymore. I was just something vile, disgusting, despicable. I could go on. I could use a lot of words, but that's what I became. It's really what I became.
In 2007, Brooks was convicted of statutory sexual seduction after impregnating a 15-year-old girl. The victim in this case is Erica Patterson, who would later testify in court that she had known Brooks since she was 15 years old, and they have a child together. Remember Erica, by the way, as she will be instrumental in the later sections of this video. In February of 2010, Darrell Brooks was charged with strangulation, battery, and criminal damage in Wood County after a woman told police that he had grabbed her throat and shoved her to the ground during an argument. He pled no contest to the strangulation charge in April of the same year and would ultimately end up serving 11 months in jail. It is interesting to note that although we can see in the record of this case that he was ordered to have counseling and take medication, it was later revealed in court that he was determined to have no mental impairment in a psychiatric review from the same period. The consultant who conducted the review would actually note that although Mr. Brooks claimed mental impairment, his statements were not credible and unsubstantiated. In 2011, he was charged with marijuana possession, bail jumping, and resisting an officer, pleading guilty the next year and ultimately serving 180 days in jail. In a now chilling detail, the officer in question in the resisting charge described how Brooks had put the car into drive and attempted to flee during a traffic stop. He had feared Brooks was going to run him over. In November of the same year, a sex offender sweep in Nevada showed that Brooks had provided a false address on his registration, and he would ultimately be arrested in 2016 for failing to comply with sex offender registry requirements. He had not been in compliance with the registry since 2008. Brooks posted bail but failed to appear in court, and a warrant was issued for his arrest, a warrant that would still be outstanding at the time of the Waukesha Parade Massacre, 5 years later. At this point in 2016, Darrell Brooks had been convicted of more than a dozen crimes, but had served less than 3 years behind bars, and he actually never registered as a sex offender in Wisconsin. So, despite repeated contact with law enforcement, he was never made to comply with sex offender laws in the state, which can include prohibiting contact with victims. And as we get further into this case, we begin to realize what the potential implications of that could have been. As well as his extensive criminal record, Brooks's social media presence in the mid to late 2010s left breadcrumbs about his life during this period. One particularly interesting post is this 2016 video where he talks about grooming Erica Patterson when she was a minor.
10 years ago, 2006, I caught a case with my oldest daughter's mama. Yes, my baby mama. She's from Oakland. I was busting moves in Nevada. I meet the bitch. She say she want to get down, so I'm pimping on the bitch. I take her to Nevada. You know what I'm saying? I get cracked. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know the bitch was 16 at the time. She gave a statement to the police and told them, yeah, she was hoeing, that I was pimping, and that she was 16, and that I didn't know that. Okay?
It's worth remembering here that Erica had a child at 15, not 16. I suppose it's also worth noting the total lack of accountability here. That's going to be a pattern moving forward. Brooks also dropped some songs under the name Math Boy Fly on YouTube.
BBS the yays, that's them lemon heads. What's the business? What's the business? What's the business? Call a Uber before you double back and hit the Uber too.
We won't subject you to too much of the music, but you should direct your attention to this red SUV in the background of this video. In July of 2020, Darrell Brooks would be charged with endangerment and firearms offenses for shooting at 2 people in Milwaukee. Now, this alone would be one of the more serious crimes of Brooks's life so far, but looking into the details of this incident, we find that one of the people he shot at was his nephew, and the argument was over a cell phone. We know this because Brooks' nephew would file for a no-contact order later the same year, describing Darrell as neither family nor kin to him. And the legal case for this attempted shooting was messy. Brooks's bond was initially set at $10,000, but was then lowered to $7,500 only 16 days later. Brooks's lawyers demanded a speedy trial. Hearings keep getting missed due to court congestion. Anyway, the trial is eventually scheduled to start in February of 2021. And then, something strange happens. Because the trial is again unable to go ahead, and the court has therefore again failed to deliver a speedy trial, Brooks's bail is lowered to only $500. This is posted, and he walks free just 3 weeks later. Now, this is not to say that everyone who is sitting in jail waiting for their day in court should be kept there indefinitely if there are delays to the trial that are outside their control. But with the benefit of hindsight, it's hard not to see Brooks' release without trial as a missed opportunity to prevent the carnage he would inflict in Waukesha only 9 months later. And, tragically, the court's failing to properly punish Darrell Brooks in the months before the Waukesha Massacre would not be limited to this one incident. It would be a pattern. Only a couple of months later, on May 27, 2021, Brooks was arrested for domestic battery at a hotel in Georgia. It was reported that it was actually Darrell Brooks himself that called the police in this incident during an argument with another guest at the hotel. Responding officers discovered that the argument had started after the guest had heard Brooks hitting his girlfriend repeatedly. The officers noticed signs of physical abuse on Brooks's girlfriend and ultimately decided to arrest him instead of the guest. The girlfriend here is presumably Erica Patterson, as she would later describe to police that she and Brooks were living in Georgia at the time, but this has not been confirmed. Although it is unclear how he was punished for this domestic battery charge in May, we know that by the 21st of June, Darrell Brooks was back in court for the 2020 shooting case, which was ultimately pushed back again due to court congestion. By the time we reached the date it was pushed back to, Brooks had been arrested for another incident of domestic abuse on the 2nd of November, only 19 days before the Christmas parade in Waukesha. The victim in this case is Erica, who tells Milwaukee police that Brooks punched her in the face during an argument and ran over her in the same red SUV he would drive into the Christmas parade later that month. Unbelievably, when Wisconsin law enforcement checks Brooks' background, neither the 5-year-old warrant for skipping court in Nevada or his recent domestic battery charges in Georgia have been entered into the national system, and so do not appear in the report. Brooks' bail was set at only $1,000 for these charges, despite prosecutors describing him as a high risk to reoffend. It would later come to light that an assistant at the DA's office had set this bail before evaluating the full case. The DA would later blame this on the backlog of cases due to the pandemic, saying that the assistant had simply seen the $500 bail from the 2020 shooting case and doubled it for a second offense. Brooks's mother posted this on the 11th, but he wouldn't be released until the 16th, and during this time, he makes a total of 11 phone calls, 2 to his mother and 9 to Erica Patterson, the person who he is currently in jail for assaulting. Looking at the case record, we can even see that 6 of these calls violate a no-contact order put in place on the 5th of November. In the predictably unhinged transcripts that would later be released, we see Brooks attempting to manipulate Erica into not cooperating with authorities. He starts by telling Erica that he loves her and asks her to marry him, in a call just 2 days after he punched her in the face and attempted to run her over. 2.5 hours after his proposal, he calls again, this time attempting to guilt Erica by saying any pain caused to his mother by him being behind bars would be her fault for talking to authorities, instead of taking a shred of accountability for his actions. This continues over the next few calls, with Brooks getting increasingly angry and threatening. And, unfortunately, all this manipulation and intimidation worked. Darrell's mother even said in a call on the 11th that the authorities didn't have a case because Erica wasn't cooperating. On the 15th, the day before he was released, Darrell called Erica twice, furious that she hadn't paid his bail. He made multiple explicit threats to Erica's safety during these 2 calls. He was released the next day and didn't face any charges of witness intimidation until after the Waukesha Christmas Parade massacre. The same day that Brooks is released, he appears in court for not paying child support. When asked why he hasn't paid, Brooks said he was in jail in Georgia from April to September. Prosecutors demand that he be jailed, but the judge releases Brooks without bail, 6 days before the Waukesha Christmas Parade. Nobody in court that day checks court records, which show, as previously mentioned, that Brooks had appeared in court in person in Milwaukee County in June, right in the middle of the time frame that he said he was in custody in Georgia. On the 20th of November 2021, the day before the Waukesha Christmas Parade, there was another domestic violence incident between Brooks and Erica. Brooks was still furious that Erica hadn't paid his bail and slapped her in the face. Erica didn't report this to police on the 20th, but would describe the incident in an interview following Brooks' arrest the next day.
This is what happened. It's like, I'm trying to stay here because it's the only person I know, but it's like I'm meeting up with you, and he's sitting here getting mad at me because I didn't bail him out. You tried to kill me. Why did I bail you out?
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't even walk up to the damn car in the first place.
Was he alone?
Yes, he's by himself. He's always by himself. He sleeps in the car in his mom's backyard.
Okay.
The cops had, when they first arrested him over this, they had came to him in his mom's backyard, and because he sleeps, the truck is in his mom's backyard.
When you saw him yesterday, when you met up with him yesterday, and he hit your face, was there anybody else that saw that happen to you? Just okay. And you were kind of by the river, but by a church. I'm assuming it's St.
Before that,
St. Joe's Church is a really big church right down the street here.
I'm not sure the name's not from
Okay.
this county, so
There's some other apartment buildings right there.
kind of, yeah.
Okay. I'm just making an
I know,
assumption
I'm
that might
sorry,
be
I
the
don't
right.
anybody might be. I can't, like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm just
Did he hit you just one time, 2 times?
once.
With which hand?
He's right now.
Did it cause you pain? Wait,
I'm not scared of him. I just don't want. No, it didn't hurt, but it was just like it wasn't a punch. It was a slap like this. But he's strong. He's
Yeah.
the same size as me, but he's stronger than me.
Okay.
I'm not scared of him, but it's like I am because he ran me over in a car in broad daylight
Mm-hmm.
at a gas station. The cops already have a video of it.
What's particularly upsetting in this interview is hearing the way Erica has been affected by years of abuse from Brooks, apologizing repeatedly and sounding scared that he will find a way to harm her.
I'm just gonna grab an overall picture of you. We got a dirty phone, of course.
I'm sorry. I don't want everybody mad at me. I'm sorry.
No, you're not. No, nobody
No,
knows.
I'm sorry.
No one's mad at
I
you.
don't want to bring this drama here.
It's not drama.
You know,
Can you guys not tell him, please? Tell him
that we talked to you?
He knows a lot of people in Milwaukee. I can't.
so he's in custody. I can tell you that.
He's gonna kill me. He's gonna have people
He's
kill me.
he's not in custody for what he did to you.
Hey, what did he do? Was that him that drove?
Yeah. At least we think it is.
On the 21st of November 2021, Darrell Brooks got into his mother's red SUV and, still angry about Erica's not paying his bail, called her from a private number and demanded that they meet. Witnesses would later testify to seeing Brooks driving recklessly before the parade had even started, going the wrong way up 2 different one-way streets. After finding Erica, Brooks punches her in the face during an argument and attempts to take her phone when she tries to get away. Erica called her friends Corey and Nick for help. CCTV shows Erica and the red SUV by White Rock Elementary School, near Frame Park. When Corey and Nick arrive, Corey and Brooks get into a physical altercation, and he punches her. The police are called, and Brooks gets back into the red SUV to flee. He drives down White Rock Avenue towards Main Street, where the Christmas parade had started just half an hour earlier. 3 officers tried to stop the SUV as it approached the parade, banging on the hood, putting themselves in the way of the vehicle and trying to divert it up another street, away from the parade. But Brooks doesn't stop or change direction. This next section details Darrell Brooks' route through the 2021 Waukesha Christmas Parade. The details here are harrowing, so please skip this section if you feel it will be troubling for you. Timestamps are included in the description. Brooks first hits someone marching in the parade with Remax, and this is the first moment that he legally should have stopped, but he speeds up. The first larger group he drives through is the Waukesha South High School marching band, where 10 children are either hit or run over. He swerves and hits 2 children of the Green family who are watching the parade before swerving back and driving through the Burris Logistics Group. He drives through the Waukesha Blazers youth basketball team, fatally injuring an 8-year-old child, and then the Extreme Dance Group, where he injures young girls of all ages. He drives through the Citizens Bank Group, fatally injuring a mother of 3, and then swerves to avoid a vehicle, instead hitting children that are standing by the steaming Cup Cafe. He drives through the Dancing Grannies and hits 7 people, 4 fatally, and then the Catholic communities of Waukesha, hitting 19 members of different churches. As he exits the parade, an officer fires 3 shots at the vehicle, but he flees the scene, dumping the battered SUV in a nearby backyard to continue on foot, removing his hoodie and shoes. He starts approaching people, asking them if he can use their phone to call an Uber. About 20 minutes after the carnage on Main Street, a Ring camera would capture this moment when Daniel Ryder let Brooks into his house to use the phone.
Hey, I called an Uber, and I'm supposed to be waiting for it over here, but I don't know when it's coming. Can you call it for me, please? I'm homeless.
Daniel didn't know Brooks or what had just happened at the parade, but he let him in to warm up and made him a sandwich while he waited for a car. After about 10 minutes, Daniel became uncomfortable with the situation and asked him to wait outside, and, after about a minute, police approached Brooks as he's standing on the porch.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Do it now! Hey, take one of the hospitals. What did I do? Lay on your stomach. Robert, are you on the
You got something with your name on it, man?
No. Okay, lads. Cooperate with us. Okay.
Darrell Brooks was arrested at 5:11 p.m. on the 21st of November 2021, just 32 minutes after he began to drive his red SUV towards Main Street. 32 minutes that changed a community. Forever. In the immediate aftermath of the crash, 28 people were admitted to hospital, with 9 in critical condition. 17 children were among the wounded, and over the next 2 days, the number of people reported as injured increased to 62. Emergency services found 5 dead at the scene, with another dying in hospital in the following days. The full list of victims is as follows. 52-year-old Jane Kulik, remembered as a loving mother, grandmother, and friend to so many, who lit up everyone's lives. Jane worked for Citizens Bank and had been passing out candy in the Christmas parade. John Kulik, Jane's husband of 22 years, would later describe his last day with his wife. How they had heard a sermon in church that morning about the great couples of the world and how they were better together. I pulled her close and started rubbing her arm, and she started rubbing my knee. She knew what I meant. It was only 6 hours later Jane was run down on Main Street. 52-year-old Tamara Durand was the youngest member of the Dancing Grannies, remembered by her husband Dave as a person with a smile that everyone noticed when she walked in the room. An elementary school teacher, coach, and volunteer, Tamara always put others first, even making headlines in 2009 under her maiden name for saving a man from drowning in the Wisconsin River. The 2021 Christmas parade was Tamara's first time marching with the Dancing Grannies. 81-year-old Bill Hospel, remembered as the consummate family man, who, despite his age, was as active as he'd ever been, loving to dance with his wife and family. Bill was marching with the Dancing Grannies to help out and support his wife of 61 years, Lola, who was a member. Lola remembers that his motto in life was, "Keep moving," stressing the importance of staying active as you age. Following his death, the motto of Bill's life has taken on a different meaning for Lola. 71-year-old Leanna Owen is remembered by her sons as a loving mother who had a knack for making people feel good about themselves without even trying. Even at 71 years old, Leanna had plans to travel the world with her family, and her son would later say in court that Machu Picchu had been the one place she wanted to visit before she died. She had been a member of the Dancing Grannies for 12 years, never missed a practice, and loved her fellow members like sisters. Her family laid her ashes at Machu Picchu following her death. 79-year-old Virginia Sorensen, a loving mother and grandmother, remembered as a high-energy, fun-loving person who sparkled her way through life. She was an instructor and choreographer for the Dancing Grannies, which had been a central part of her life for 19 years. Despite back and hip injuries in recent years preventing her from performing, she hadn't stopped sharing her love of dance with others. Her husband of 56 years, David, remembers her passion for the group. What did she like about it? Everything. She liked the instructing. She liked the dancing and the camaraderie of the women. She liked to perform. In fact, dance instructing was how Virginia and David met decades earlier, at a church event where she taught him how to dance the can-can. Virginia was holding the Dancing Grannies banner at the 2021 Christmas parade. And, finally, 8-year-old Jackson Sparks. Remembered as bigger than life, obsessed with dinosaurs and wrestling with his brother, Jackson loved sports, could turn anything into a ball and bat, and would slam dunk objects around the house. Following his death, Jackson's family made the selfless decision to donate his organs to save and heal the lives of other people in need. Through this process, Jackson has restored one person's sight and saved 4 lives. Following his arrest in the early evening of November 21, 2021, police would attempt to interrogate Darrell Brooks after taking him into custody. Detective Jay Carpenter would later describe that he read Brooks his Miranda rights, but didn't ask any questions after Brooks told him he was not willing to talk. Detective Carpenter would also say that Brooks kept saying he was confused as to why he was there and did not mention anything about driving a vehicle through the parade or hurting anyone. The next day, Brooks was interviewed for a second time, and footage of this interview was later released by the state, and it is predictably a frustrating watch. Brooks spends a lot of the time trying to paint Erica as crazy, drunk, and abusive, blaming her entirely for the confrontation at Frame Park.
Darrell, what's your middle name?
That girl is a nutcase. That's my daughter's mama, though. I love her.
So part of what happened last night, is she was just being strange, you know.
Which she is because she drinks.
She's a nut. He said
she drinks.
He said she drinks.
When she does that, Erica is the only one that I have problems with. Even my youngest daughter's mom works, comes home. We don't fight. We don't argue. We co-parent. I have my daughter most of the time, and she's okay with it. Erica, she's a sweetheart until she gets that alcohol.
The alcohol's the problem.
Then you all type of big ass niggas, and I have somebody touch you, and I'm gonna keep my daughter away from you, and I'm gonna make sure you never see her again, and you talk to bitches every time your phone ring. I'll hit you upside your head with this pen. Even my mom doesn't even like her around when she's drinking. Oh, you just think you finna get the money and leave, and you must got something waiting on you, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, see, this is why.
Unsurprisingly, he also tells a litany of provable lies and contradicts himself repeatedly throughout the interrogation.
I just had to pay $1,000 to get out of jail just because she was mad.
Thing you said you just got out of jail like last week. Did I have that right from her?
Yes, no, it wasn't from her. It was a paternity case here in Waukesha for my son.
Has anyone ever arrested you for putting your hands on her? Not Waukesha necessarily, Milwaukee. Anyone?
No.
Never?
Never.
You don't have
when I got
any open cases that you can't contact her?
Yes.
You would have said that?
Yes.
What's that about?
That's because we had a domestic that she claimed I smacked her, punched her, did some stuff like this.
When was that?
This was recently. I got the cases open.
So you didn't get arrested?
I'm going through the case right now.
Got out.
I got out, and you know why? She's calling and telling them, oh, I was just drunk, I was just mad. I was just drunk, I was just mad. And they said, oh, Milwaukee picks it up anyway.
So it happened in Milwaukee.
So she was recanting to Milwaukee?
Yes.
Okay.
And she told them I was drunk. That's why I said it. Before all this stuff, I have been in trouble in a decade.
Okay.
A decade. That was 2011, and that was for weed.
Speaking of lies and contradictions, by the way, the alibi he gives here is shaky.
How did you get out here?
I was meeting up with a friend to watch the Packer game.
Okay.
That's the only reason why I was out here.
Where did you go to watch the game?
To a friend named Stephanie.
Her house, a bar, or?
A house.
And I don't mean to make you uncomfortable or anything, but what's the address there? What street
I
is it
have
on?
no idea about Waukesha. I don't know the streets.
What was it near? I know you had to see something near it. So what was it near?
Like a gas station.
Have you been to the house before?
No.
Never before?
No.
What's Stephanie's last name?
I have no idea. I have no idea.
When did you guys set this up?
Maybe a couple of days ago.
Okay.
Like I said, I have a few friends. I have a few friends in Milwaukee that have people out here, so
okay.
It's not, like I said last night, I don't know the streets in Waukesha. It's not where I usually hang out at, so I couldn't say, well, this street, and this, I couldn't.
All right.
Stephanie, like a friend of yours or like a friend of a friend?
A friend of a friend, mutual friend.
And what her last name was?
I have no idea.
How long have you known her?
That was my first time meeting her. So
how did you get the number to know the house to go to?
A friend.
So how did you get to her house?
My friend. I went with my friend.
Okay, who's that?
My friend. I don't really want to say his name. I don't know if that's going to incriminate him in anything.
So, he traveled to Waukesha to watch the game at a house that he doesn't know the address of, which belongs to a person he doesn't know, who knows a friend of his that he doesn't feel comfortable sharing the identity of. Right. Now, we know that he is desperately trying to avoid any reference to driving the red SUV, as this will immediately tie him to the crash.
Whose car did you use to get out to Waukesha?
I didn't use anybody's car.
Where does your friend live?
My friend lives in Milwaukee.
So you didn't walk to Waukesha. Whose car did you guys use?
My friend. I just said my friend.
What type of car do you have?
I'm
just trying to figure out how you got here.
Yeah, I know, but it seemed like you trying to spin me up or something.
I'm just asking how you got here. Whose car did you drive out here?
I didn't drive at all.
Whose car did you come out here in?
My friend.
Did he offer to drive? Do you have your own car? Did he offer to drive?
No, I don't.
How did you guys come
I don't own a vehicle.
Don't own a vehicle?
Nope.
Do you have any car you can drive at all?
No. I have license.
So you have a...
I do have license, but no vehicle.
Don't ever use your niece's, nephew's, mom's car or anything like that?
My nephew doesn't have a vehicle. My niece is 14.
Mm-hmm. What about your mom?
My mom doesn't even know how to drive.
She doesn't have a car, doesn't know how to drive?
She doesn't know how to drive.
Does
she never learned.
Okay. Does she have a car that she lets you use at all?
No.
Does she have a car at all? Maybe not that she lets you use.
No.
Does she have a car in her name at all?
I think she did at one point.
Does she right now?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I'm not going to say no because I don't know. I honestly don't know.
As he continues to try to lie his way through the officers' questions, Brooks is seemingly unaware that they actually have some pretty compelling evidence tying him to the vehicle.
I just have concerns if I fact check that Darrell's not telling me the truth. You don't have a car, so Marcus had to bring you out. You don't own a car, your mom doesn't own a car, right? So Marcus had to bring you out. So why did we find you with a car key in your pocket?
It wasn't in my pocket. I don't even know where they said that was laying on the ground.
That's yours.
Yeah. It should have been by my ID.
Yeah, it's yours. It's your car key, okay? Because it goes to a Ford Escape in your mom's name covered in Waukesha. Okay. Listen, Darrell. I'm trying to be as open and honest with you as I can be. You know, I'm Christian too, and believe me, I'm not perfect. And neither are you. And I'm not calling you a terrible man. I'm not saying you were out yesterday hunting, and just let me finish. But you did not walk to that house. You did not walk to that house. You did not come here in a tan Kia. You didn't.
And who?
You did not come out here in a tan Kia. Okay? You got a key in your pocket to a car in your mom's name. Okay? And that key works for that car. For yourself, for your family. You know what happened yesterday. For the people. Tell me what happened.
With what?
With the car.
What am I being
with your mom's car? You're driving goofy. People called in. You drove out of there in your mom's car, the red car. You're driving a little silly, probably because you're pissed. You met up with Erica in the car at the park. Now, initially, I believe you told us the gas station. Do I have that right? And then you changed it to the park. So that's an inconsistent.
No, I said the house was by the gas station. When you said what was by?
You said you went and it was by a gas station. That's where you met her.
No. I said I met her at the park.
Okay.
I agree.
You met her,
I did say that.
You met her at the park in your mom's car. A red Ford Escape. She got in, you talked, and what you're telling me seems pretty consistent, that there was nothing physical between the two of you.
No, I didn't. No.
But you met her in the car.
I didn't put my hands on her or nothing.
But you met her in the car.
Tim, what's going on, man?
Asking you a question.
You
were out there driving kind of crazy. Some people said you were driving kind of crazy. We got reports of it. You got the key, you got the car. Did you take the car, or did your mom give you the car? I know you know what car I'm talking about.
I just want to know. So
some people reported all those people out there, they reported that car driving a bit erratic.
I know what you're saying. All I'm saying is this. We all been straight up with each other. You knew it was more to what you was asking me yesterday.
It's upsetting to watch someone so actively trying to dodge accountability for their actions. But what's even worse is remembering that due to those actions, little Jackson Sparks is struggling for his life in the hospital while this conversation is happening.
Like, at this point, I don't know, because it's like, I don't even know when I'm ever even going to be able to hug and kiss my girls again. Mm-hmm. And all of them. My mom, like I said, she's getting older. She can go today, tomorrow. Like, not wishing that, but it can happen. And then where does that leave me? I can't even see my mom get buried, or I can't even see my mom. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? What happens, like, if some crazy person or somebody just decides to shoot up the school one day, and my daughter's in there. So so much stuff that I think about at this age, like, that I wasn't thinking about 10 years ago.
Sure.
And stuff like that.
The lack of self-awareness is astounding. For the sake of brevity and sanity, we won't continue to break down the full 5 hours of this interrogation, but it's linked in the description for anybody who's interested. By the time the officers conclude the interview, Darrell Brooks has failed to lie his way to freedom on the 22nd of November 2021. His attempts to avoid accountability, however, were only just beginning. Brooks appeared in court just 2 days later, sobbing and rocking back and forth as he was charged in relation to the massacre. The next week, on December 1st, his family issued the following statement, first giving condolences to the victims' families, but then almost entirely blaming the crime on a lack of proper mental health treatment. Now, lack of mental health treatment for mental issues is definitely a problem in this country, and this is Darrell's family, so they're going to be as charitable to him as possible. But this statement was issued only 10 days after the parade. It comes off as wildly insensitive to release a statement where this much is dedicated to mourning the people Darrell has just murdered, and this much is dedicated to explaining his actions. On the same day, Brooks gave his first jailhouse interview to Fox News, saying he was being demonized, dehumanized, and treated like a monster. Reporters described him as calm, lucid, and soft-spoken. They said that once the interview was concluded, they heard the sounds of Brooks sobbing through the speakers. 5 days later, on December 6, 2021, Brooks was finally charged with witness intimidation in relation to his deranged phone calls with Erica that November. In the months following the Christmas parade and over the course of 2022, neo-Nazi and fascist groups held anti-black rallies in Waukesha, seizing on the narrative that the massacre was a racially motivated attack on white people. The idea stems from this disturbing 2020 Facebook post where Brooks is calling for violence against white people. Now, this is obviously a horrible thing to post, and less was known about the details of the case at this point. It's just interesting to note in retrospect how keen some people were to spread the idea of an anti-white hate crime and racial double standard in reporting before any real evidence of motive was confirmed. For example, writing for Newsweek less than 2 weeks after the crash, politician and author Newt Gingrich would focus so heavily on the idea of the media covering up the facts of the case that he actually mentioned the cover-up more than the facts he claimed were being obscured. This is perhaps to be expected, as Gingrich has a colorful history of public statements. His reporting on the case really exemplifies how some people see a case like Waukesha as the latest opportunity to push their own agenda. We now know the reality is that throughout Brooks's life, he hurt everyone he came in contact with because he is an angry, violent narcissist. So any attempt to twist the tragedy to fit your own divisive narrative is not only irresponsible, but exploitative. Anyway, it's August of 2022. Discourse is swirling around the case, and we suddenly get the first indication of the trial to come.
Mr. Brooks, the live stream is on.
I don't care about no live stream. Just like y'all don't care. All this political, this is show. Y'all been told what to do.
Mr. Brooks, Mr. Brooks, look at me for a minute. Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks, look at me.
Here, act like you know me. People like you don't, y'all
Mr. Brooks.
don't know nothing about where I come from.
Mr. Brooks.
Don't push me, dog.
Don't push back then.
Mr. Brooks.
Don't push back.
Push me in.
Mr. Brooks, we have to continue with this hearing.
Want to talk to the judge or not?
No, I'm worried about, man. Don't put your hand on me, dude.
Nobody put their hands on you.
Yeah, they better not put their hand on me.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, you need to look at me for a minute, okay?
Why? To listen to all this political stuff y'all got going on?
Mr. Brooks, I'm more concerned about...
Stay seated.
All right, we're going to take a break and we're going to come back after lunch. I'm not going to do this with him right now. He needs to be here. He's not cooperating. I'm going to give you the warning, Mr. I will give you the warning that if you continue to interrupt when we go back on the record, you will forfeit your right to be in the courtroom today. I can't have these interruptions. I want you here. It's been a long day and a half.
Get your hands off me.
We'll come back at 12:30.
Just told him to get off me.
Brooks's attorneys had previously indicated that he would pursue an insanity defense, but withdrew this on the 9th of September 2022, just a month before his trial was scheduled to begin. The change of plea suggests that court-ordered psychiatric evaluations did not support the case for insanity. A few weeks later, on the 27th of September, Brooks appeared in court to request to represent himself as a sovereign citizen.
I would like to proceed in this matter in pro per, not pro se.
So you're going to have to tell me what you think that means.
It is me exercising my right to defend myself, to represent myself as a sovereign citizen.
We have, of course, seen this before on the channel.
I'm asking you to give me the death sentence.
And it's fair to say that it's generally recognized as a pretty awful idea. But nobody could have been prepared for the level of self-destruction we were about to witness in that Waukesha courtroom. The trial of the Waukesha parade killer began with fireworks, as Brooks argued with the judge during a pre-trial hearing over a list of witnesses he didn't have, refused to go get, but insisted he needed.
How am I supposed to do that without
I'm telling you, I'm giving you the opportunity to go get that.
I'm not
So,
gonna go do that.
Mr. Brooks, I'm not going to play games with you.
And
I'm giving you an opportunity.
And I told you that
either
I'm not
go to
gonna
your
do that.
cell and
You
get
said
the
I have the
or not.
opportunity to do that. You said I have the opportunity.
I'm not going to
do
demand that you do it, but you have to understand, sir, that if you
I
choose
don't
not
understand.
to do that...
I don't understand. I don't understand.
All right,
I've
Mr.
made
Brooks.
that clear. I don't know how
claim
many
to not
times, but
understand, and that's been made very
no,
clear
I don't
here, sir.
understand. You're not going to get me to consent to something that I don't consent to or agree to. I do not understand.
All right.
Just
Mr.
like I
Brooks,
don't
we're going to
understand
take
the
a
nature and
recess
cause
so
of
that the court can get this
exactly
information
like I've
from
been
the
telling you
state.
from the beginning.
Okay, he's continuing with his disruptive behavior. It is his choice to do that. Mr. Brooks, you are hereby warned once again, if you continue with that, you will be removed from the courtroom.
Remove. Remove me.
Requesting to go to the other
Remove
courtroom?
me. I told you that before I even came over here.
Sir, are you requesting to
I
go?
told you that before I even came over here.
Mr. Brooks, are you
That
requesting?
It was pointless of me to come over here. You can smile all you want to think
Sir,
it's funny. I don't take this as a joke. I don't take this as a game.
My preference is for you to be
You
here.
expect me to answer all these questions that you have for me, Your Honor, but you have yet to answer one question that I've asked you. You have yet to verify anything.
You can take him back to the other room. He's been disruptive.
You haven't even honored my request to make an offer for my appeal.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We'll have to clear the courtroom.
I don't agree to a stop when I move this court for a motion to dismiss.
The record should reflect
The record should reflect that my rights are being trampled on. The record should reflect that I don't agree to a stop.
Brooks was removed from the courtroom to mute his interruptions, which would be a pattern throughout the trial. He can be seen here flipping out and sulking in the other courtroom after being removed, and was caught on a hot mic rambling about how unfairly he was being treated.
This is ridiculous, man. As soon as I raise the issue, I'm being disruptive. I'm intentionally trying to be disruptive. I'm intentionally doing this. I'm intentionally doing that. So I should have just stayed over here, which ain't even legal to do anyway. Can't be present and not present when it should be a motion. This is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous.
Brooks' interruptions continued as the trial got underway.
Your objection's noted. It's overruled.
And he was again removed after an argument where he claimed a juror was flipping him off.
One of the jurors, the lady in the black that's closest to the screen in that corner chair over there, I recognize her from my initial appearance. She flipped me off coming in to my initial appearance and coming out. I know it's her for a fact. I seen her about like how I'm looking at you right now, so I know for a fact that's her. I don't want that to end up being an issue. Is this some type of way that could be addressed by Your Honor?
And then I'll bring you back when the jury's back.
This was filed though, Your Honor, and it's valid.
Mr. Brooks is clearly not following the simple rule of civility that I have established.
That's
He continues
inaccurate,
to
Your Honor.
interrupt. He's not providing this court with ability to make rulings on the record without interruption. So this is your final warning, or you will be removed to the other courtroom.
Will Your Honor honor my First Amendment right?
I'm not answering that question, sir, because I've already addressed it.
So you're making a judicial determination to deprive me of my constitutional
I am not
right.
making any such determination, sir.
So you just said you're not going to answer the question about my First Amendment right, which says
Sir,
that
I've
I have
already
freedom of
answered the
speech.
question that you have a right to present a defense.
That is the
You have a
Sixth
right
Amendment,
to
not
be
the First.
present.
You're trying to twist
You
up the
have
amendments.
a right to present your defense, but your rights are not unfettered.
Yes, they
your
are, Your
rights.
Honor. You're citing the Sixth Amendment, which I am not
Mr. Brooks,
questioning.
your First Amendment in some respects.
Brooks would throw another tantrum in the other courtroom, but this one was a little more unhinged. On the same day, he also submitted several handwritten objections, and the prosecution began to present the case against him. Over 2 weeks, they called 57 witnesses to the stand to talk through their personal connection to the case in excruciating detail. Much of the case made by the prosecution was used to inform the earlier sections of this video, and although there isn't enough time to go through every testimony here, links to the whole trial are provided in the description of the video for anyone interested in hearing more. Adam Bonesteel, who's the driver of the Citizen Bank float, would describe finding Jane on the ground after Brooks had driven through the parade.
I thought my wife was the woman on the car. So you see your whole life going by you, you know, and what you think is an act of terror because you don't know what's going on. And then the body's laying on the ground. And, you know, at that point, that was my only focus. My vehicle, I threw it in park and ran to decipher if this was really who I think it is.
Okay.
Details of which direction the vehicle went after that, I cannot tell you. I'm sorry, it was tunnel vision right to the ground.
Of course. You do distinctly remember, though, seeing the red vehicle that you've described roll over the person on the ground?
Yes.
With both tires?
Yes.
Adam's description of worrying for his wife's safety seemed to elicit a reaction from Darrell Brooks, who announced that he had to take a minute before cross-examination.
Did you learn later that Jane passed away due to her injuries from this collision?
We did learn that later. My gut feeling in that was that she had passed.
You mean when you went up and saw her?
Yes.
You felt she was either dead or close to death?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I don't have any other questions for you.
All right, Mr. Brooks, do you have any questions for this witness?
I do.
Whew.
I apologize. I just needed a quick second. At some point in your testimony, you stated that you heard, or rather you saw, brake lights. Would that be fair to say?
Given this emotion at Adam's statement, it's perhaps interesting to note Brooks's disgraceful conduct during the emotional testimony of extreme dance coach Alyssa Gajewski, continually interrupting her to make baseless legal arguments.
Was there a certain point when your dancers stopped dancing?
Objection, irrelevant.
Overruled. You may answer.
Yeah, they did stop dancing.
Why?
Because there was a car that drove through.
There's food right there.
Thank you.
There's also water. You may open one of those.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You recognize that person?
Yes.
Can you see any features
Mr.
in
Brooks,
there?
that's argumentative. Your objection's noted. It's overruled. You may answer.
Hearsay. Objection
Not
for
hearsay.
hearsay.
You may answer.
Clear hearsay.
We're gonna turn the audio on for this video.
Objection still. Is the video, who even took the video? Is it relevant?
Sir, it's not an objection. It's a statement. You can ask questions later.
Not even a witness that took.
Go ahead.
So, Judge, before we begin, I have to step in here and request that Mr. Brooks be instructed to stop making comments under his breath. This witness is very clearly having an emotional and difficult time testifying, and she doesn't need to hear that.
Objection, she can't hear anything I'm saying.
Mr. Brooks, the mics are very good in this courtroom, so please refrain. All right, keep going.
Speaking of baseless legal arguments, it's probably worth noting the key features of Brooks' courtroom behavior before we get any further into the trial, as it's broadly informed by two things. The first is the narcissistic manipulation tactics we've already seen during interrogation and jail calls, including derailing conversation.
If he wants our assistance,
Objection, she can chill with all that. She can chill with all that tone.
Hold on. I know.
Get on that if that's what it is.
Hey, I know it's been a long day. Let's.
Painting himself as the victim.
I'm still forced to come in here with zero help.
And being endlessly combative in the face of accountability.
I'm a grown man with grown kids. Ain't nobody gonna talk to me like that. Nobody.
The second thing that informs his behavior is his sovereign citizen legal defense, including the belief that the court has no jurisdiction over him.
I would like for you to prove subject matter jurisdiction on the record, Your Honor. I'm ready to address subject matter jurisdiction. Prove subject matter jurisdiction on the record. Is it proven subject matter jurisdiction?
A refusal to say his own name.
Mr. Brooks, who's that?
That would be you.
And a total lack of understanding of the law.
According to this document, this is a
Mr.
civil
Brooks,
case,
please stop.
which means someone is being sued. Civil is a suit.
Mr. Brooks, you're talking about an irrelevant matter. I'm starting the trial.
Of course, right here that says it's a civil matter.
Mr. Brooks
So
has
what's
nothing
being
to
sued?
do with
My
this
session
case.
trust is being sued.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And because he was representing himself, Darrell Brooks was given the opportunity to cross-examine every witness for the prosecution, including Erica Patterson, who is called to detail the incident before the crash and, therefore, made to face her abuser once again. Brooks tried to paint Erica as the issue in their relationship, focusing on the idea that she was drunk during the domestic violence incident prior to the crash.
What were you drinking?
A Mike's Hard beverage.
Were you aware that it was said that you were actually drinking vodka?
No.
Hold on. When there's an objection, I need to rule on it first, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Sustained that mischaracterizes the previous testimony.
So it would be fair to say that you were drinking.
Yes,
Would it be fair to say that you were a little intoxicated?
I was not.
How much did you drink that day?
One of the Mike's Hard alcohol beverage.
And around what time of the day was that?
I don't remember.
Was it shortly before meeting up with the alleged defendant, or was it sometime before?
It was before.
Did you have anything to drink after?
No, I did not.
It would be fair to say that you were engaged in conversation with the alleged defendant before you even left the women's shelter?
Yes.
And those argumentative conversations continue into your hanging out?
Yes.
Would it be fair to say that that's what led you to drink?
No.
So, to the best of your recollection,
You were not drinking both of those days that you cite, the 20th or the 21st.
The 20th. Hold on. Mr. Brooks, under 90611, I'm stopping this cross-examination. You've asked the same question, multiple questions, multiple times, and at this point, I'm going to declare that the opportunity to cross is now concluded.
I didn't know that was the same question, Your Honor.
Mr. Brooks, it's been asked and answered multiple times.
It seems his intention here was to paint her as unreliable, but this would be just another of many embarrassing failures as Brooks tried to avoid accountability for his actions. Another particularly embarrassing moment was when Brooks tried to call the state of Wisconsin to appear in court.
Mr. Brooks, I'm reviewing this for completeness, and you have simply put on here state of Wisconsin plaintiff. That's an entity. You have to name a person, sir. The date. The date we would fill in. So I'll have it shown to the state, and they can let me know their position on that.
Any legal basis why that would not be accepted, Your Honor?
You have to have a person named, sir, so that they can come and testify. You only have an entity named.
Is it not true that under the Sixth Amendment I have the right to face my accuser? None of the witnesses that testify are the accuser. None of the witnesses that testify are the injured party, which a claim has to be made by a living, breathing human being.
So I think you're confusing civil law with criminal law.
He seems to think this is some type of gotcha moment. The plaintiff is the state of Wisconsin, and he has a right to face his accuser. So the trial will be thrown out if Wisconsin can't appear on the stand and face him, right? It's just painful.
Just so I'm clear, you have never had any interaction with the plaintiff?
Objection.
Sustained.
You've never seen the plaintiff?
Objection.
Sustained.
Never spoken to the plaintiff?
Objection.
Sustained.
Never seen, do you see the plaintiff in court today?
Objection.
Sustained.
Do you know if there is a plaintiff in this matter?
Objection.
Sustained.
This obsession with facing his accuser would culminate in a 50-minute rant where he claimed his rights were being violated and accused the judge of treason.
So the question still stands. How can an entity bring a claim if it's not a living human being? So where's the claim? Will the plaintiff in this matter, the state of Wisconsin, be allowed to testify? Will they be allowed to be in the courtroom? No, they will not, because they don't exist. Therefore, the claim doesn't exist. For all those reasons that I just stated, the case should have been dismissed a long time ago. Once those issues were raised, this case should have been dismissed. Nothing has been proven. Not subject matter jurisdiction, not licenses to practice law. My Sixth Amendment right has been basically trampled over. No complaints have been shown. It's to the point where Your Honor, you should recuse yourself from the presiding at this point. If you're not going to abide by the oath that you swore, which was in your oath, correct? You swore to protect the Constitution of the United States. You swore to protect we the people. That is not being done here. I'm sure you know about Title 18, USCS 2381, which states that it's treason not to uphold your oath of office. Treason.
Similarly to the trial of Eligio Bishop, go and watch that video if you haven't, by the way. Watching a narcissist handle court is fascinating, as they will often paint themselves as the victim and try to exert control over proceedings. No matter how hard Brooks struggles, though, these tactics are just not effective in the face of real evidence that requires real accountability. When this music video we saw earlier was played in court, for example, it became the catalyst for explosive protest from Brooks.
If you had seen it numerous times before today, why did you need to see it again to make sure if any questions were asked, or however you refer to it? What would be the need to view again this morning something that you had viewed numerous times before?
Objection. Compound. Asked and answered. Misstatement of the facts. Argumentative.
Sustained.
Did you view the video this morning because you knew that the video would be made an exhibit this morning?
Objection. Assumes facts, not in evidence.
Sustained. As to the form of the question.
This is mind-boggling. This is mind-boggling. Can you clarify again why you viewed the video this morning?
Objection. Asked and answered.
Sustained. Next question, please.
I don't got no more questions, man.
All right. Thank you.
This is mine, Bobby.
Detective, you may step down. I'll excuse the jury.
What you people was trying to do is not fair.
Legal basis.
There should be a legal reconsideration of it.
Then you need to provide me with the legal basis for that, sir.
So I'm supposed to just come off that with off the top of my head?
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
You're representing yourself. It's not ridiculous.
It is ridiculous. So I was supposed to already come in here this morning to say, oh, a video is going to be shown off the fly at the drop of a hat. Let me try to find some legal thing to get back. How am I supposed to do that?
The bottom line is you opened the door to the playing of that video.
We're not talking about
and the video was previously provided to you during discovery.
We're not talking about opening the doors. We're talking about being fair.
There's absolutely no prejudice to you in terms of surprise.
With all due respect, if I had done that,
I am going to move on.
If I had done that, it would have been a big thing.
I'm advising you.
Are you asking me?
I'm advising you, sir.
Oh, okay.
I'm advising you to sit down and be quiet. And if you interrupt me again, you are on notice that you will forfeit your right to be present in this trial. Mr. Brooks.
For the entire trial? Did you say the entire trial?
I never said any such thing.
You said for the trial.
Please?
So what do you mean? I'm asking, what do you mean?
Mr. Brooks, you continue to come at me.
I don't consent to being called
You continue to fight with me.
I'm not fighting with you.
You are being disrespectful.
I'm not fighting with you. I'm not.
I'm going to give you one last opportunity to sit down and be quiet so I can make a finding as it relates to other things.
Are you asking me to do that?
I don't need to ask, I'm telling you. Mr. Brooks, listen to me, please. I'm going to ask this question one more time. It calls for a yes or no.
I don't like your tone and the way you're talking to me. I don't.
Mr.
I don't
Brooks,
appreciate it.
Sit down. I don't care if you don't like my tone. You've been pushing my buttons all day throughout this entire trial, and I have shown the utmost of respect for you, and I don't appreciate you impugning the integrity of this court.
If that's what you want to call it, that's fine, but it's not accurate.
Stop talking.
What you mean, stop talking?
I need to make a ruling. Okay, I'm purposely not putting you in the other courtroom right now.
Let's talk to each other like adults then. Because I've never told you to stop talking. What was the problem with me asking the question about the jail cell?
He's not answering my question. We'll move on.
I'm trying to understand. If I don't understand, how do I know? 15 minutes. How do I know what I'm supposed to answer if I don't understand?
He broke from his argumentative persona when he began to present his defense, breaking down in tears as he delivered his opening statement.
There's been a lot of suffering involved in this incident. A lot. Obviously, with the families, with the community, and even the alleged defendant's family as well. There's been a lot of suffering. A lot of misunderstanding.
This same day, there was this bizarre discussion about his witnesses where Brooks refuses to confirm if he's talking about Erica.
I can't say this for the record. One witness I intend to call tomorrow is not going to be 35 minutes.
Fair enough. Do you plan to call that person in the morning or the afternoon?
If the morning goes pretty...
Can you tell me which list they were on when you gave it to the state? Was it Thursday afternoon, Friday morning, or Friday afternoon?
I didn't put them on days, but I believe they were in the the second floor names.
Do you just want to tell me who it is so we can prepare so that person is told to come in the afternoon rather than wait through the morning?
I don't want to say who it is.
Well, I want the person to be here when we're ready to go, but...
They were here today, if that helps.
Yeah, I know who it is. It's Erica Patterson, Your Honor. There's no mystery here.
Maybe it is,
maybe
it isn't.
That's kind of who I thought it would be as well.
We'll have everyone else here.
That's interesting because what if that was not who I was referring to?
Then you need to tell me right now so I can make an alteration to that.
Come on, Judge.
Sir, we're at the end of the third week of trial.
So
I need to keep this moving along.
Can we at least be fair and say that that's not due to me, though?
That would not be fair to say.
How? How? The state said that they needed 5 to 7 business days to present their case. Did they or did they not say that on the record?
And there's...
So how
it doesn't matter how we got there at this point. I'm trying my darndest to get all the witnesses done. So, I'm directing the state to have Ms. Patterson come tomorrow afternoon.
If that's
and the
what I
other
was referring
witnesses,
to, which I wasn't, but everybody think they know what I'm thinking.
Then you need to tell them if it's someone else, and if you want her here in the morning,
I'll say this. Everybody that was here today that didn't get called, have them here tomorrow.
The next day, after being told to call Erica to the stand because she was the only witness present, Darrell Brooks had a complete meltdown in the courtroom.
you choose to call Ms. Patterson, this is your opportunity to do it.
At the same time, though, that's still a rush to judgment, Your Honor. You can't. I shouldn't be forced to call people in the order that I'm being told to when these are my witnesses.
You did not want to provide us with the order, and I respected that, Mr. Brooks.
But I said that.
And
from the
so then
beginning.
I asked
Your
you
Honor,
to put
with
him
all
in
respect,
blocks.
with all respect, did I not inform Your Honor in the court that I would not give a specific order? I stated that numerous times.
And Mr. Brooks,
Numerous
I
times.
have authority to tell you otherwise. I can require
It's
you
not
to
the witness
call her
that
right
should have been
now.
called at this time, Your Honor.
It is based on the list that you provided and
That didn't
in the
have a
order.
time. That didn't have a time or of
I'm not going to
or an
play
order.
this game with you, sir.
It's not no game. That's what you don't seem to understand.
I believe that fully.
I don't care what you believe fully.
All right.
It's not a game. I don't take
I
this as a
asked-
game. That's what
Let me explain
nobody.
this to you
That's what
once
nobody.
again.
You don't got to explain nothing to me.
Do you want-
That's what you don't understand. You think that
want
this
the
is a whole
opportunity
game
to
to me?
question?
This is not a game to me, Your Honor. Nothing about this is a joke.
I never
That's
said
what
it
y'all
was a
don't
joke.
understand.
But there's
And it's
some things in
unfair.
this ship
It's
that's going
unfair and it's disrespectful to me that you think I would come in here purposely and treat this like a joke or a game.
I never said it was a joke.
What type of statement is that? Your life is not on the line. Mine is. And you think that I think this is funny?
I don't think it's funny whatsoever.
So
And understand.
I think, Your Honor, with all due respect, I think you should show
we're
some
going to take
respect.
a 5-minute break, and when we come back, the jury's coming out, and you need to call your next witness. Thank you. We are in recess.
No, you're not rushing me to judgment. I don't care what you...
After she was eventually called to the stand, Brooks would again attack Erica's character and attempt to paint her as a bad mother.
The child that you have in common with the alleged defendant, how old is that child?
15.
Do you keep regular contact with that child?
Off and on.
Describe what you mean by off and on.
I'll object.
Grounds.
This is not relevant.
Not relevant. Sustained. It's not relevant, sir.
She answered you.
Next question, please.
And the child in common that you have with the alleged defendant, does that child live with you?
No.
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevant.
Grounds.
Sustained. Not relevant. You don't have to answer that.
Do any of your children live with you?
Objection.
Grounds.
Relevant.
Sustained.
He also tried to blindside her with photos he hadn't previously admitted into evidence.
I don't know if you can see them from here, but do you recognize these pictures?
You need to show those to the state. The bailiff will take them. That's not proper procedure, sir.
I'm going to object to those being shown to the witness. They have no relevance whatsoever to this trial.
Yes, they do. And I'm getting to how they have relevance.
They've also never been disclosed to the state before this moment.
Sustained.
Sustained why?
Not relevant.
They are relevant. It creates foundation.
Brooks claimed that these photos were sent to him by Erica in a letter and that the line of questioning was important because it showed her character. But he was unable to produce the letter, and his examination of Erica was shut down, prompting yet another argument in the courtroom.
Do you have the letter with you in court?
I just said no. How many
Okay.
times I got to say the same thing on record?
You know, sometimes, sir, I don't hear what you say because you interrupt me so much or you answer quietly. And I'm taking notes and I'm focused on probably a dozen things at the same time.
But if I say something under my breath, everybody seems to hear it. Everybody seems to hear
In
that
a
just
quiet
fine.
courtroom,
And
yes, we can hear it very
and
clearly.
Everybody assumes that it has to be disparaging. Or,
Once again, you're doing this tactic. where you
Because
try to
it's not a
go
tactic,
off
it's
of what
facts.
we're talking
It's facts.
about to some other reason.
it's facts.
To
Because
some
I
other
find it
thing.
hard to believe that
I'm going to
all
let
of
the
a sudden
state.
nobody hears what I say.
I'm going to let the
Come on,
state
man,
make a
stop.
record of why they
Stop.
believe it's objectionable because I haven't let them do that. I've given you multiple opportunities to tell me why you
So
believe
I
it's.
didn't get these pictures from nobody else. Why was
The
somebody
record will
else
reflect you have 2 pictures that you believe were from this witness.
that I know is from?
No, that you believe.
That I know.
All right, I'll ask the state their position on all of this.
My position, Your Honor, is that these pictures, first of all, should not be admissible. 1, because of a discovery violation. We've never seen them before. 2, because we have reason to believe that he did not get them from Erica Patterson. He is on a jail phone call talking to his mother, Dawn Woods, about Dawn Woods sending these photographs to him. Now,
that's a lie. I object to
Let
that.
the state make their argument without interruption, sir.
That's a lie, though.
3, I believe that these photographs are designed to make a suggestion to the jury that Erica Patterson is a bad mom. I think that is what the defendant is trying to do. And if we're going to go down that road, then we would be forced to counter that claim. First of all, it doesn't make her an incredible witness, if it's even true. And second of all, if we go down that road, we would be forced to counter that claim by pointing out that not only does the defendant not live with the child in question, he doesn't live with any of the other children that he has, He impregnated Erica Patterson when she was a minor in Nevada, and for doing so, he was convicted of statutory sexual seduction, pled guilty in March of 2007 to that felony offense, and is a sex offender on the registry as a result. So if there's any causation that would lead to Erica Patterson being a bad mom, Mr. Brooks has a direct role in that causation.
And that's
Furthermore,
I object to that
I'm not
because
done.
that's a lie.
Let him
Because at the end of the day,
Let him
if
finish,
we don't open the door
Mr.
on that, no,
Brooks.
since he want to make a record and not be accurate, so let's be accurate all on the record since you think you know so much.
Once
So
again,
we can
Mr.
open the
Brooks
door
is
on-
being
we can open the door
loud,
on how old she told me
disrespectful,
she was when we met.
interrupting.
We can ask that question
He is
too then.
over the
Did you
top,
ask that?
animated
Do you
right
know
now.
that?
Mr. Brooks, I'm ordering you to sit down and to let the state
No,
finish.
no, I'm not going to sit here and let somebody be inaccurate on the record and lie on the record.
Right. Under Illinois versus Allen, I've warned him repeatedly. He's being removed from the courtroom. And you know what? Let me dial that back. We're just going to take an early lunch, 1 hour. We'll be back. And unless he brings that letter and he can show it is inadmissible, he will not be questioned. And under 906.11, I will declare the cross-examination closed. Thank you. We're in recess, 1 hour.
Get your facts straight. So let's open the door on all of it then so we can get all of it on the record. Since you think you know so much. Did you know she said she was 18 when I met her? Did you know that?
It seems like he might have started to feel the walls closing in here. Remember, the previous day he gave his tearful opening statement trying to make people sympathetic to him. And then earlier that day, he hyped up calling Erica to the stand like he was going to be this huge moment for his defense. But his bombshell witness testimony has just ended with him getting outed as a sex offender, undermining any sympathy his opening statement could have created. And he now has nobody to try to throw the blame onto. He ended the day by turning, once again, to rage.
I would like to provide the defendant and the court with a copy.
So that had to be said. So it's the defendant.
That's not how it was said.
That was how it said. You want to run the record back?
Mr. Brooks.
So I'm the only one. I got one.
Mr.
I got
Brooks.
one ear that work, and I heard that.
This is to benefit you so
No,
that
it's
you
not.
understand
Ain't none of
your
this to benefit me,
witness
so let's be
has
clear
a
about
prior
that.
record.
Your Honor, when I leave the table, I'm away from the courtroom and I have to elevate my voice. This is the
So she had to
alleged
elevate her
record
voice
of
just for
ableist.
that.
Stop talking.
Come on, man. Like, I don't know who y'all be thinking y'all fooling. I accept the value in return for value this document.
One more interruption and you're going to be removed to the next courtroom.
That's what you want to do anyway.
It's not what I want to do. Do not interrupt Attorney Opera.
So can
Your
you
Honor,
tell,
I
can
believe
you
he has 7 prior criminal convictions via OWI 2nd from 1997, and OWI 3rd from 1997, and OWI 4th from 2003, criminal trespass to dwelling from 2006.
Right, I need to take a break. This man right now is having a stare down with me. It's very disrespectful. He pounded his fist. Frankly, it makes me scared. And we're taking a break.
Darrell Brooks lost his right to present further evidence due to his appalling conduct in the first 3 weeks of his trial. And it's fair to say his reaction to this was childish.
No, I don't want to do that. Oh, you don't? I changed, hold on. 76. The 76 count. Just want to make, it says near Frame Park, so it is in there, but that was just one question I had. All right. Fair enough, there's 107 pages. I certainly can give the parties some time to continue to read through them. If you could move the second one because it can interfere with the microphone as well. And the third. Mr. Brooks, I'm going to ask you for a third time. Do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions? Any requests for instructions that aren't included that you believe should be included? Any edits or deletions from the packet that has been provided to you?
Hey, why do you tell them to move my body?
Because I couldn't see you, sir. Do you have any requests as it relates to the jury instructions? I'll unmute you for that answer.
I can't hear everything you're saying. I just told you, I don't know how many times, I can't hear everything you're saying.
Then you should put the headphones on.
Don't you understand? What about that don't you understand? Do you see headphones? You can see everything. You can see boxes, but do you see headphones?
Have you asked for headphones to be provided, sir?
I should have to ask for them. I asked for my boxes to be moved.
I believe they took them away previously because you were so agitated they were perhaps afraid you might break
Yeah,
them.
I'm still agitated. I ain't gonna stop being agitated. That ain't gonna stop.
The prosecution closed in the same way that they opened and presented, by stating the evidence and facts of the case in explicit detail. Brooks was outside the courtroom during these arguments, holding up a piece of paper to object where he could. As soon as he was allowed back in, he would resume his endless arguing with the judge. His last desperate attempt at getting away from these charges was to essentially ask for jury nullification, which is when the jury returns a not guilty verdict, even though they believe the defendant is guilty. Given that it's more likely to happen in cases where the defendant is sympathetic, we can't be sure why Brooks thinks this would ever happen in his case, but he would cling to it as a last-ditch defense nonetheless.
Did you inform
They will be informed of the law.
Did you inform them that they can
Mr.
nullify
Brooks,
the law?
Mr. Brooks, you do not have that right to request that. And
Were
I'm
they
advising
informed?
you, one more time, this is your opportunity to provide your closing argument. Please begin.
I intend to when ready. I just want to know if the jury was informed that they can nullify the law.
Mr. Brooks, you have no right to make that argument to the jury.
It's true. They have the power.
I am in creating a rule for your closing argument that you may not raise the issue of jury nullification in any way.
Your Honor, hold up. Hold up now. I'm the only one that has to be made rules for closing arguments, but not the prosecution. How is that fair? How is that balanced?
Mr. Brooks, I'm squarely faced with your defiance regarding the issue of jury nullification.
It's not
that is
defiance.
requiring
It's
me
not defiance.
to address this issue and to tell you very
Your Honor,
expressly
I
that that is the rule
I
for
vehemently
your
object to
closing
that.
argument.
Vehemently object to that.
Your objection is noted for the record. But
May
my
I ask
rule
for legal
nonetheless
reconsideration of your
stands.
ruling?
That request is denied.
And finally, after being dragged literally kicking and screaming through the trial, Darrell Brooks gave closing on the 25th of October 2022. His closing arguments are, as expected, pretty shameful, focusing on the suffering on both sides and how hard this has been for him to deal with before appealing to the jury to ignore his crimes.
So I go back to trying to wrap my head around everything that's happened in the last year. Praying for those families, praying for the people that tragically lost their life, because that should not be lost either. The fact that there was lives lost and all the emphasis has been put on the alleged defendant and the people have been disregarded. Makes me wonder, does the DA even care about those people? There's been prayers going up every day. It's been suffering on both sides. It's been threats, hate mail, because of the narratives that's been put out there, misconceptions that have been put out there, the lies that have been put out there. I've never heard of someone intentionally trying to hurt someone while attempting to blow their horn. While attempting to alert people of their presence. For whatever mistakes that I myself have made in my life, I've made peace with God. Made peace. I'm happy to say that my conscience is clear. And because I believe, I trust him with my life. Nobody will never know why it was his will for this to happen. Don't let the smoke and mirrors take away your power. Don't let the theatrics take away your power. Each and every one of you has a decision. Who's right? Make the right decision.
The jury found Darrell Brooks guilty of all charges on the 26th of October 2022. He was heckled by someone in the courtroom as his charges were read.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Darrell E. Brooks, guilty of first-degree intentional homicide as charged in count 2 of the information. Did the defendant commit first-degree intentional homicide while using a dangerous weapon? Answer, yes. Hey, you are to be removed right now. You will not do that.
Just 5 days later, Brooks would appear in court to schedule his sentencing. Although he was now guilty and no longer in control of his own fate, he would still argue furiously with the judge and once again be removed from the courtroom.
I'm quite sure there's cameras rolling right now because there are always cameras rolling. There's always audio on.
Mr. Brooks, I need to move on to
There's public in the
scheduling.
courtroom. I had a shock device on my ankles, and they purposely did not want to show that to you guys or to the jury. That's
Mr.
why I
Brooks,
can only move
I'm advising you.
here or here.
Mr.
That's
Brooks,
the
I'm
reason
advising
why.
you.
And I always had the chair right here. Everybody that came to this courtroom seen that I had a chair right here, even though I had no counsel. What is the reason for me to have a chair right here?
All right, Mr. Brooks,
Why
any
did I have a black cloth in front of the table?
interruptions will result in you being removed to the other courtroom because
and
you're
you
not
hold
letting
me
move
in contempt,
on to
that's okay.
scheduling.
Is it civil contempt or criminal contempt?
All right, one more interruption and you will go to the other courtroom.
Well, they need to know that.
Stop.
They need to know that. They need to know the truth.
I'm going to ask the state some questions. If you interrupt when I do that, you will be removed to the other courtroom.
Remove me then.
All right,
Remove me then.
Attorney Basie.
It's not going to stop the fact that they need to know that the shock device
he's
is on my
interrupted.
ankles.
I'm sorry, everyone. We'll have to clear the courtroom. He will be removed to the other courtroom. I'll make the
That's
appropriate
fine.
findings.
Tell the truth, though, Your Honor. Tell the truth. I had a shock device on my ankles.
On November 15, 2022, survivors and victims' families would read impact statements detailing how their lives had been affected by Brooks's actions on the 21st of November, 2021. All the victims' statements are moving and beautifully delivered, and although we don't have time to go through them all here, a link to the full hearing is provided in the description for anyone who is interested in hearing more of them. Jackson Sparks' mother Sherry gave a heartbreaking statement remembering her last moments with her son.
My boys were walking in the Waukesha Christmas parade with their baseball teammates, friends, and coaches. It was a chilly and windy day that day, so we all layered up and prepared to kickstart our holiday season. We met up with our Blazers group, decorated the truck, prepared the buckets of candy and flyers for the boys, took some group photos, and then I left to go find my seat near the end of the parade route and wait for our group while enjoying the parade. I had no idea then the nightmare that was coming my way. Nor did I know that it would be the last time I would hear Jackson's voice and see his smile. I wish I would have known then that the hug he gave me before I went to sit down was the last hug I would ever get from him. I would have held on to him a lot longer.
Alicia Kulik, Jane's youngest daughter, gave a moving statement detailing the unbelievable pain that the loss of her mother had inflicted on her and her family.
I couldn't get out of bed for a few days, nor did I have much of an appetite. The next few days consist of me trying to put together this new life, all of which still doesn't sink in sometimes. But other days, believe me, it does. Even though I've received so much love and support from the community, my friends, and my family, I've never felt so alone. I don't think I'd ever be capable of feeling this much pain in my life, but here I am. I'm watching my siblings, and my nephews and niece, and my cousins and my aunt, and all the rest of my family going through this. It's just terrible.
Listening through these statements, you also get a sense of the terror the parade crash inflicted on the wider community. This was beautifully summarized by Jessica Gonzalez, a survivor whose family were physically unharmed by the crash, but still had suffered deep emotional trauma from their experience.
On healing in a program for PTSD. I have only just returned to the workplace, only just a month ago. Something quieter, something with less action. Because after almost 1 year, some days still feel like November 21st was yesterday. Intrusive memories, hypervigilance, nightmares, anxiety, panic attacks, depression, anger, guilt, shame. These are all things I and others live with daily because Darrell Brooks drove through our joy and turned it to terror. When he suggested he could have hit more, he was wrong. He hit everyone. The toll this event has taken on everyone, physically hurt or not, is tremendous. And it sickens me to know that there are so many others with a similar story as ours.
Chris Owen, one of Leanna Joy Owen's sons, ripped into Brooks in his statement.
My name is Chris Owen, and I'm the plaintiff. I'm here on behalf of another plaintiff, my mother, Leanna Joy Owen. Lee Owen was a mother, a grandmother, a best friend, an apartment manager, and a dancing granny. The reason none of the witnesses saw her in this courtroom is because she was executed by a child-killing sex offender, and we are both injured parties. My whole family is an injured party. To my kids, Lee Owen was Nanny, and Nanny spoiled her grandkids every chance she got. On every birthday, she would call and sing happy birthday to their voicemail so they could hear it the first thing in the morning. She went on a tour of my son's summer camp. She danced in the same parades as my youngest daughter. She wanted my oldest daughter to use her car to learn how to drive so she could teach her like she taught me. She accepted people for who they were and made people feel good about themselves. That is what the world lost, and you have the audacity to tell this court that your conscience is clear. I'm sorry, Mr. Brooks. There's not a human with a soul on this planet who could snuff that light out, who could steal Lee Owen from this world and have a clear conscience. And that is why you hear the term monster. That is why you hear the term demon. I saw pure, unrepentant evil in your face that day, and it disgusts me that you are allowed to exist. And I know the answer to the question that everyone keeps asking. I know why you did this. You did this simply because you were not in a cage. That is what I find mind-boggling. And how dare anyone say the system failed him? The system failed every one of us whose only mistake was to bring their families in the vicinity of Mr. Brooks. That poor excuse for a man should not have been on the streets. That is a failure, period. But enough about him, because today is not about him. It's about us and what we lost. I lost my mom, Lee Owen, and I wasn't always a good son. I could be selfish sometimes. I could be mean. But no matter how angry or standoffish I got, she would bend over backwards for me, even when I didn't deserve it. And now I can never tell her I'm sorry. I can never tell her I should have been more grateful. I can never tell her how much I need her in my life. Yeah, shake your head. Shake your head. You know, because that is what you took from me. And there's nothing this court can do that would provide justice in my eyes. So all I ask is that you brought slow.
Virginia Sorensen's son, Sean, would also address Brooks directly, calling out his demeanor in court and behavior throughout the trial.
He is simply a repulsive man who has shown zero remorse for his actions and depraved indifference to life. His fake tears in court were never for those harmed, but only for himself and the freedom he has lost. His narcissistic behavior, disgusting trial antics, and defiance to accept any accountability displays how truly unworthy he is of anyone's forgiveness. While we lost my mom instantly, I hope his 76 sentences pass in a slow, miserable, depressing existence as a reminder of the many lives he shattered.
Now, you may have noticed Brooks rolling his eyes and shaking his head in the clips we just watched. Well, this disrespectful behavior was actually a theme throughout Impact statements, with Brooks also praying, chuckling, and reading the Bible as victims' families and survivors shared their stories. This conduct was called out by the mother of an 8-year-old girl Brooks injured in the crash.
At that time, she was an innocent 8-year-old who was excited to get to perform in the parade with her best friend and her teammates, and it was something she looked forward to every year. My mother-in-law and myself and I also join her every year and hand out candy, and it's something that's become, I guess, a tradition that was taken away from us by Darrell Brooks because of his selfless just ability to have. Please don't do that. It's so disrespectful. I've watched all day on TV, and I've watched you mock all of the victims all day. You roll your eyes and you make faces. If this was your 8-year-old daughter that someone else hit, you would have been beside yourself if someone made those faces. And you want people to have forgiveness for you and your child? You're insane. I hope that the judge puts the most amount of years on your sentence, and I hope that you live in hell for the rest of your life for what you have done to all of these victims. Do you realize after you hit me and my mother-in-law, I spent 5 minutes walking around looking for my daughter on the ground? I was looking for her through little girls that were keeled up in little fetal positions because you had ran them over. You hit them with 3,300 pounds. And you don't care. Right before you hit me, I turned around and I looked at you. I didn't see your car. I saw the look in your eye. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what you wanted to do. And that was because you are a narcissistic piece of shit that thinks you can get away with everything. And you are not going to ever get away with anything ever again. You did what you wanted to do, which was instill fear and horror in all of these children that are involved. You're a child killer. A woman killer. I cannot wait until somebody inflicts that harm on you. I'm done. I'm sorry.
The next day, Brooks's mother and grandmother gave statements where they again blamed untreated mental health conditions for Darrell's crimes. And finally, Brooks is given one last opportunity to speak in his defense. In this final speech, he blamed childhood trauma and untreated mental health for his actions in Waukesha.
living in apartment buildings infested with rodents and bugs, pouring cereal in your bowl and having bugs in it. A lot of people weren't raised like that, so it'd be hard for them to pull back that veil and understand that. Physical abuse by the people that are supposed to love you. Trying to understand why your mind thinks the way it does, why you don't comprehend certain things, why no one can provide the answers that you want. The fact of the matter is, I have at times been medicated. I have been in mental health facilities, only for a short time. I can honestly say that life was better. It helped.
He also makes a big point of saying he's not going to lay into a member of the prosecution before describing her as incompetent and unintelligent.
I felt a lot of frustration and anger yesterday, not towards any of the victims. It was towards Miss Susan L. Opper. And I won't even throw shots back at her. Again, I choose to take the high road. In spite of the clear language that was used by her, I'm not gonna fire back. I'm not gonna do that. Am I angry? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But so what? When it boils down to it, the whole prosecution team had a job to do. Can't be mad at somebody for doing their job. Attorney Basie, Attorney Witchow, I respect you guys. Regardless of what you may feel about me, I respect you guys. I really do. I respect you too, Attorney Opper. The difference between all you guys is, you, Attorney Opper, I don't respect how you did your job, and I never will. Ever be able to wrap my head around why you did things the way you did it. Made reference to this being an open and shut case. Yet you needed a whole team to prosecute an open and shut case, as you say. I feel like they was the reasons why your case had any strong points, not from you. I don't believe you're that bright.
When asked how the judge should sentence him, Brooks gave compliments about her conduct throughout the case.
Obviously, it would be hard to top what was already said about you thus far. You've gotten an incredible amount, a credible amount of love for your job in this matter. Some even say superhero. Some people, I'm sure you know this, but some people have even dressed up as you for Halloween.
Mr. Brooks, I'm not looking for accolades from anyone. I'm looking here today to sentence you in this case, and I'm frankly more interested in your thoughts on that than your opinion of me.
Ignoring this last-minute flattery, the judge's sentencing remarks detailed how doctors had concluded that although Brooks had claimed to be hallucinating after the parade, there was no evidence that he had a break from reality on the 21st of November 2021, and was therefore fully culpable and responsible for his actions. Brooks had another 2 outbursts during the judge's remarks and was removed from the courtroom, trying to exert control and delay being held accountable right up until the last moment.
Sometimes an extended
Mr. Brooks,
period of time.
You are just simply trying to delay the inevitable. Please sit down.
I don't care about the inevitable. It was already written from day one what was going to happen. It doesn't make me lose any sleep about that. I know I'm okay. I'm okay with everything.
Then please sit down.
I just want to be treated fairly, which I have not been, Your Honor. As a public servant, I have the right to ask questions of Your Honor.
I'm going to ask you one more time, and if you refuse to sit down, then you are in direct disobedience of a court order. Sit down and be quiet so I can make the appropriate record.
Can you tell me what the court
right,
order
he's
is?
not going to obey. He's now forfeited his
right
to be present. He will go into the other courtroom.
I didn't say I wasn't going to obey.
We'll be in recess until he's there.
I just asked what is the order.
Darrell Brooks was sentenced to 6 back-to-back life sentences. plus an additional 762 years and 6 months. The courtroom clapped as the judge handed down the sentence.
1 life sentence for Virginia Sorensen. 1 life sentence for Leanna Owen. 1 life sentence for Tamara Durand. 1 life sentence for Jane Kulik. 1 life sentence for Bill Hospital. And 1 life sentence for Jackson Sparks.
Darrell Brooks was charged with an additional 4 years in 2024 for the domestic violence incident on the 2nd of November 2021, after he pled guilty and broke down in tears in the courtroom. Then, in April of this year, he sparked conversation about whether there is still more to come from this bizarre trial by expressing the desire to fire his attorney and represent himself in appealing his sentence for the parade crash. The judge, unsurprisingly, advised him not to do this. On the 4th of December 2022, just 18 days after Brooks' sentence for the crash, Waukesha rallied together for its 2022 Christmas parade. Graced by the Extreme Dance Team, the Blazers, and the marching band, it was described as an emotional event where the strength of the community was on full display.
The Milwaukee Dancing Grannies led by photos of the members they lost last year. A nurse who helped treat some of the injured walked with them, assigned to carry tissue.
Just to help with any tears that they have, although I've given more out to the crowd than I have to them. I was working in the ER last year during the parade, so come full circle, I had to see them here today.
And walking, what does it feel like to see the support?
Oh my gosh, it's so awesome. And like I said, there's so much tears, so much emotion.
More groups who've overcome so much? The Extreme Dance Team, Blazers baseball players and their families, walking in honor of the Sparks family.
We're getting through it, and we'll always be stronger together.
Survivor Tyler Pudliner.
And I'm so glad you're here. Look at your walking. You look great.
I'm getting there. Yeah, thank you, Katie. Thank you.
The Waukesha South High School Band. On that float, Eric Teagues and others who made miraculous recoveries. Dozens of former band members walking with them in solidarity.
Waukesha South meant a lot to me when I was a student, especially the band program.
Sitting proudly in the crowd, Waukesha County Judge Jennifer Doro.
Absolutely felt the need to be here.
And the winning prosecution team from the District Attorney's Office.
A lot of joy, a lot of love in the air. It's really nice to feel that.
And the community would show up again in 2023 and 2024. Although Waukesha refused to let Darrell Brooks' actions define their celebrations, this didn't mean forgetting the people they lost in 2021. And 2 memorials dedicated to the victims were constructed in Main Street and Grady Park. At the center of the Grady Park Memorial are 6 ribbons, each representing one of the lives lost that day. And every night at 4:39 p.m., it turns blue for 6 minutes. One of the key questions in this case is why Darrell Brooks drove through the Waukesha Christmas parade, as it was never confirmed by Brooks or needed by the prosecution to prove their case. To find the most likely answer, though, we just have to look at his character. Darrell Brooks' narcissism means he continually twists reality to serve himself, to the point that a victim is at fault in a domestic violence incident, or a minor is at fault in a statutory rape case. In his mind, everyone else is always the problem, and when he is confronted with people who refuse to accept that reality, like Erica refusing to pay his bail because he tried to kill her, or the judge refusing to let him control proceedings in his own murder trial, he responds with rage and aggression. And it was this combination of rage and pathological desire to avoid accountability that propelled him throughout his life, and into the path of the parade on the 21st of November 2021. Hopefully, the fact that he will spend the rest of his life being held accountable will be some small comfort to all the people he's hurt. Because, as we heard in court, he hit everyone. With the courtroom circus that Brooks made this case into, it's easy to dilute the horror of his crimes in Waukesha, to forget that for survivors, friends, and family of the victims, or the community he terrorized, this case doesn't neatly end when the courtroom claps and Brooks is handed his sentence. It lives on. In every moment they remember the lives lost that day.